Iconic children's books getting a woke makeover. Stories like James and the Giant Peach and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory being wiped of words and phrases the publisher deems offensive. Critics are crying foul and calling it censorship. Host of Fox Across America, Jimmy Fallon, is with us now. I asked you as you came on set, how many times did you read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Probably like 1,000.
I think I was right there with you.
But I do want to correct you. In 2023, it's now Charlie and the Peanut-Free Chocolate Factory. You can't, that could be dangerous.
Just in case.
It's so absurd. First of all, when I read this story, I was like, where did they find kids who still read books? Like, I was amazed by that alone.
Oh, that peanut joke was so bad. It was so bad. If it's designed to be intentionally bad, then kudos to you, sir, but that was really bad. Anyway, some of the books of Roald Dahl are being shifted in some limited ways by the publisher. Apparently, the publisher and I guess the family at some point signed off on this, is perfectly fine with making some mild tweaks to the language of some of these books to, and I'll remind you, as always, when companies make decisions like this, to make more money. This is capitalism. They want to sell books, so they're doing what they think they need to do to sell books. That said, there are people outside of just the right that are criticizing that, so criticizing this move. So I want to talk a little bit about what they're doing and see what we think. So some of the changes they're making, for instance, you can see a reference to a 9-year-old boy who was, quote, so enormously fat, he looked as though he had been blown up with a powerful pump, was changed to who was so enormous, he looked as though he had been blown up with a powerful pump. So enormously fat was changed to enormous. Great flabby folds of fat was changed to great folds. And the description is still of someone who is very overweight. They just changed a little bit of the language there. There are some references to women who wear wigs that changes the wording a little bit. References to women working as cashiers or typing letters. They changed it to more, business friendly. She's a top scientist. She's running a business. There are some references to the works of Rudyard Kipling and Joseph Conrad, replaced with John Steinbeck and Jane Austen. So these are the sorts of things. Lots of little tweaks to language to take out things that might be interpreted as being fatphobic or misogynistic or racist or whatever, referencing other literary figures who we now have a more full understanding of who they were. Francesca, what do you think?
I obviously the right is gonna freak out about this because they're like, well, why can't we fat shame children? That seems like a great thing. But I'm with it. Look, if the estate is with it, I'm with it. I think it's fine. I'm seeing, oh, shut up, you old hag. They're saying, shut up, you old crow. That's nice. That softens a certain amount of misogyny and that language in Roald Dahl. I don't think it's changing the original meaning. I don't think it's, a blight on like his. I mean, they're pretending that they read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 1,000 times. No, you didn't. You saw the film. You watched the movie. You didn't read it. Stop lying. You read James and the Giant Peach, maybe, which I think should be changed to James and the Giant Ass, that ass dough. That's what it is. James and that ass dough.
No, it should be, they're gonna make it James and the Giant Peach that thought it was a nectarine.
That's right.
Put me on outnumbered. Anyway, yeah, look, I don't think that this is necessary. I don't think that some of these things are so terrible that they're gonna ruin kids, but I also don't care. It doesn't change what the book is. Like, if you think that this was core to the book, that says more about you than it does about the book, I would say. Again, them getting so worked up about books that I am sure they were not encouraging their kids to actively read anyway. The publisher thinks that more parents will be okay with their kids reading it if it's less purposefully offensive against a whole bunch of different people. I think that's fine. Again, this is just capitalism. This is all that it is. So again, this is like them attacking the move of a capitalist to distract you from the political stuff that's going on, the status quo of which benefits capitalists. It's such a weird political culture war Ouroboros that they have right now, constantly labeling as woke the actions of profit-seeking private entities.
But that's a perfect example. They don't understand and they conflate the so-called left or socialism, even more bizarrely, with the actions of a corporation. You're absolutely right. This is what they are doing. Disney is acting on their own behalf. And the other reason is they're following culture. Disney's following culture because they realize that these other things aren't hitting anymore. Like the Song of the South, not hitting in a year where we're actually like have the most massive uprising against the fallout and the legacies of things like slavery and Jim Crow in the form of current day policing. Not hitting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not the left, it's a corporation that doesn't want to have weird ass anti-Semite Gina Carano on their hands.
100%. And by the way, again, if you want to be able to speak from a position of moral authority, from a true principle, saying they can't dare change a couple words is not okay because books are sacred. Oh, also, this book mentioned that gay people exist, so it should be banned from all libraries. Like, again, you're kind of on tenuous ground when you have a list thousands strong of books that you think are offensive because they acknowledge that sex is a thing. This book, what they seem to think it's offensive, so they're changing a few words but keeping the book. Right. I feel like maybe we should have some sort of consistent principle. And by the way, like people who are like, you can never change anything an author says. First of all, they constantly change things that authors write. That's what editors are. Editors change what the author wrote to make it fit for publication. And I don't have to talk generally about a bunch of different authors. We can talk specifically about Roald Dahl. So originally, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Oompa Loompas were black African pygmies. He was encouraged apparently to change that and did. By the way, Charlie originally was gonna be a black character and they changed that because they thought it would sell better. Does the right have as big of an issue with that? These are changes to the sacred vision of an author that happens because this is a profit-seeking thing. This is not the first time a book has been modified. First of all, books are modified when they're translated. They come out in new editions and things get changed. There are simpler versions produced for kids that change tons of I read lots of Jack London as a kid. They were abridged. It wasn't the full thing. So again, it's like their job is to take things like this and pretend this is the first time anything like this has ever happened when that is not remotely the case. Anyway, again, I'm not even saying that I love it or think it's necessary. And if you want those old books, you can get them. They've made millions and millions of copies. If you insist that your kid read the word hag, you can do that. Anyway.
You could just say it around the house, You could call them a hag.
You could write it. Just write the word hag.
Write your own book.
All work and no hag makes us, like you could do that if you want to. Anyway, that's
what happened in The Shining. Actually, they got woke. He went woke and went crazy.
He was being censored. He couldn't
killed the whole family.